He's at it again. Oh! You won't find any treasure in there, Paddington. The only carrots in this stew are the kind you eat. Oh.
Paddington, your battery will run out if you keep that thing on all the time.
I'll be careful, Mrs. Brown, but it's a special long-life one.
More's the pity.
Mr. Brown's treasure seeker was most exciting. It even had a book of instructions explaining about the different beeping noises it made when it found something. Getting closer. Aha!
Why, Paddington, you haven't made your bed.
I did, Mrs. Brown, but I'm afraid it got unmade again. I was counting my Peruvian centavos last night, and I lost one. Aunt Lucy would have been most upset. She gave them to me in case I ever had an emergency.
Thank goodness you found it then. You must take care of them in future.
I shall, Mrs. Brown. I always keep them polished. I don't spend them.
Do you realise it's the first time we've had peace and quiet in weeks? I do hope Paddington is finally tired of his treasure seeker. Paddington!
Oh.
Paddington! I've lost my wedding ring. Can you see if it's fallen on the ground?
I shall, Mrs. Brown.
Dear, Henry will be most upset when he hears. I do so treasure that ring.
My Peruvian centavos. They've disappeared.
Mercy me. What is going on? First your wedding ring and now Paddington's centavos.
Don't worry, Mrs. Bird. I'll find them with my treasure seeker.
What you'll need is perseverance if you expect to find anything with that thing.
Bears are good at perseverance, Mrs. Bird. Aha! This is the spot. According to the instruction book, all you need is luck when looking for things. And since horseshoes are lucky...
Ouch!
Oh.
Bear! Was that you? What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry, Mr. Curry. I didn't know you were spying on me. I'm just looking for gold.
Gold? Did you say gold? What kind of gold?
Peruvian centavos, gold rings...
Why don't I help you there? Let's say finders keepers, shall we?
Finders keepers.
Standard procedure when looking for treasure, Bear.
Is it there?
No, not a sign.
Oh. That's funny. I do believe Mr. Curry is helping Paddington look for his centavos.
Mr. Curry doesn't know the meaning of the word help. He's after something.
Ah, gold indeed. The garden's full of scraps of old metal.
Perhaps we should look where the horseshoe landed.
You're absolutely right, Bear. Come along. You carry on digging for a while, Bear. I have to stretch my legs. I have a good feeling about this hole. Bear, why aren't you digging?
I don't think there's anything in this hole, Mr. Curry.
Nonsense, Bear. Try it again. Start digging, Bear.
Oh dear. I think we've been getting signals from your boot studs, Mr. Curry. That's why it always sounded as if the treasure was under your feet.
Bear! Come back here. I'll give you buried treasure.
Did you dig all these holes, Paddington?
Mr. Curry dug most of them, Mr. Brown.
That bear of yours tricked me into it.
Well, I'm delighted. This flower bed needed a good turning over. Thank you both.
You're welcome, Mr. Brown.
What's all this, Bear?
You'll find us keepers, Mr. Curry.
Now listen here, Bear. I've had just about enough of your nonsense for one day when... Shoe-thieving scavenger, go away!
Mr. Curry had given me an idea. And when I looked in my bird book, it said that magpies were notorious for stealing shiny objects.
Where are you going, Paddington?
I'm perseverancing, Mrs. Brown.
What on earth is Paddington up to?
Henry, I have a confession to make. It's about my wedding ring.
Oh! It was the moment of truth. The missing treasure!
It belongs to me, Bear. You're on my side of the fence.
But you said finders keepers was standard procedure, Mr. Curry. Word of my successful treasure hunt spread like wildfire. The entire neighborhood showed up. The magpie had been stealing shiny objects from everyone. Gold watch, anyone?
That's mine! I can't believe it!
An earring?
Oh, the earring my mother gave me.
And the last thing, a diamond tie clip.
Mine, Bear.
It's inscribed. It says,
That's fine, Bear. Don't read that.
"To my little Snookum Wookums." I didn't know Snookum Wookums was your first name, Mr. Curry.
Ah,
I'm sorry, Mr. Magpie. But here, I think marmalade is worth its weight in gold. In Hollywood, there's a place where all the famous film stars leave their footprints in wet cement. But I don't suppose they've had many paw prints. Of course, the movie stars usually have special permission.
What? Marmalade?
Mr. Gruber and I were in Hollywood to research the next chapter of his book, The World and Its Wonders.
Look, Mr. Brown. It's a map showing where all the movie stars live.
They must enjoy getting lots of visitors to put their houses on a map. Oh, I'm afraid my cement has dried, Mr. Gruber. Hollywood is all about making movies, so we decided to take a tour of a studio. And I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like traveling all over the world in just a few minutes. For free.
Cut! Huh? Hey, buddy, we're trying to shoot a picture here.
Pardon? Oh, pardon me.
And action.
All right, who's next?
Excuse me, I'm looking for the...
Yeah, come on, we haven't got all day. This way. All right, read this. It's the role of bystander number 3. It's a small but vitally important part. I want you to give it everything you've got, okay?
And action.
Look out! He's over here! There! He's over there!
We've heard enough, thank you.
Wait! You're some kind of bear, aren't you? You got claws.
Of course.
This is incredible! He's perfect for the part of the villain in this picture. An evil, mad scientist known only as the Claw.
Mr. Brown, there you are. I was getting worried.
Are you his agent?
I'm his friend.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Look, I want him to be in my movie. This is my offer. Take it or leave it.
We'll take it. And so began my career as an actor.
Okay, now in this scene, you've got the hero trapped. Your line is, "Give me the access code or you're doomed." You got it?
Shouldn't I say please?
No, So, you're a criminal mastermind, an evil genius bent on world domination.
Well, that's no excuse for being rude. Aunt Lucy taught me to always be polite.
And Mr. Brown is just that.
Whatever. All right. In this scene, you and the hero are playing for high stakes. Do you know anything about card games?
Of course I do.
Revenge of the Claw, Scene 12, Take 1.
And action! Oh!
Do you have any queens?
Cut! For the last time, you're not playing fish. You are playing poker 5-card draw. Understand? You've got your motivation?
I think so.
The Revenge of the Claw, Scene 12, Take 32.
And action!
Hold it!
What now?
There's some kind of smudge on the lens. It looks like marmalade.
Who's been eating marmalade on my set?
Uh-oh. Being an actor is harder than I thought, Mr. Gruber.
Being a director seems to be even worse, Mr. Brown.
You see that man over there in the expensive-looking suit? He owns the studio. He came down here today because for some reason he's under the impression that this production is not going well. So let's try to leave a good impression, okay?
My Aunt Lucy.
I know. She taught you to always leave a good impression. Action!
Well, Agent Malone, I believe the time has come.
You fiend. You'll never get away with this.
Nothing can stop me now. I think I'm in trouble again.
That's it! I want you out of here! You're fired!
Just a minute. What's your name, young fellow?
Paddington, sir. Paddington Brown. I'm sorry about your set.
Details. But you know something? You're just what the studio needs, isn't he?
Right. Absolutely right. That's just what I've been saying.
It's a night of glitz and glamour as the stars come out for the London premiere of the latest Hollywood blockbuster, The Revenge of the Claw.
You must have a really big part, Paddington.
They'll see, won't they, Mr. Brown?
They certainly did see. I had become the new logo for the movie company.
A logo? But why?
They said I had great merchandising potential. I expect you may be wondering what I'm doing on a bus, sandwiched into my seat. Well, if you think I look uncomfortable, you should see Mr. Gruber.
Give me the ball! Heads up!
Oh, dear.
We're on what's known as a mystery tour, because nobody knows where we're going until we get there. But if you ask me, the mystery is how they managed to cram so many people onto one bus.
Now, Mr. Brown, while I get the tickets, why don't you look for a souvenir?
That's a very good idea, Mr. Gruber. I may get a postcard to send to Aunt Lucy. May I have 2 postcards, please? Excuse me? I hope she's all right. She's either been struck dumb, or she's having what Mrs. Bird would call a funny turn. In fact, I don't like to admit it, but her heart stare is even stronger than Aunt Lucy's.
Don't worry, Mr. Brown. She's a dummy.
It's very nice of you to stick up for me, Mr. Gruber, but she may not be able to help it.
That's certainly true, Mr. Brown. You see, she's made of wax. This is a waxwork museum, and it's one of the tricks they play on visitors.
This one looks very lifelike, too.
Oh, hey!
Wait for me, Mr. Gruber!
Oh, not again. Look, Tom, more vandalism.
Jude, same as the others. Whoever is responsible is getting more daring, doing it right under our noses.
We are now entering the medieval display. A fantasy world of brave knights, damsels in distress, fierce dragons, and bears gorging themselves.
The Brown!
Now, over on our left is the French Revolution display.
These are much better than the postcard lady. At least they move. They'll be saying hello next.
And here we have a fascinating...
Hey, you! What's going on here?
I've got to tell Mr. Gruber what's happened.
Stop that bear! Come back here!
No one can say this tour isn't mysterious. It would just be nice if I could see a bit more of it. On the other hand... oh dear.
He's usually more careful. At least he tries to be.
Oh dear, look, Ivanhoe's a complete mess. It's just problem upon problem.
But he is also rather fond of marmalade sandwiches.
We've had a number of these accidents of late. Displays toppled, fingers chewed off our wax dummies.
Oh, Mr. Brown would never eat wax. At least, not intentionally.
Well then, if he's nothing to hide, where is he?
At least there's no damage to the Goldilocks and the Three Bears display.
Being a bear does have its advantages, but I need Mr. Gruber's help. He's very good at setting everything right. Mr. Gruber? I'm glad you're not real. Otherwise, I might get sent to the tower.
What's going on in here? This is terrible. If this keeps up, all our displays will be ruined. I remember every wax figure I've made for this museum, but I don't remember you.
You made the Queen? She's very good.
Thank you. My name is Tom Waverley. I've been working here for 20 years.
My name is Paddington Brown. I've been visiting here for about 20 minutes.
Then you can't be the one who's been knocking over displays and chewing up the wax dummies for the past few weeks.
Oh no, but I think there's a ghost loose in the museum. It makes a strange chattering sound.
A chattering sound, you say?
Mr. Brown!
There's our culprit.
This bear is innocent.
How do you know?
I've spent 20 years of my life making faces. Good ones, bad ones, sneaky ones. So I should recognize an honest face when I see one, even beneath those whiskers.
Then who is responsible? Oh! What the?
Most unusual.
I know. This is our ghost.
That squirrel must have been trapped in the museum for weeks. He's the one who's been nibbling the figures. He's the one who knocked over the displays. He's the one...
Melted the bogman's face?
No, I'm sorry. That was me.
Brilliant! It's even scarier now than it used to be. You've made a grand addition to the Chamber of Horrors. I must find a way to repay you.
Well, Mr. Brown, it's not every day you get to solve a real mystery on a mystery tour.
And it isn't every day you can see yourself doing it. Dear Aunt Lucy, Mrs. Bird says bears have 2 birthdays a year, a summer one and a winter one, just like the Queen. That means I get 2 birthday parties every year. So there's a lot of work for the party givers. So I decided to help. Oh dear.
Paddington, how did you get yourself into such a pickle?
Oh, it had nothing to do with pickles, Judy. Streamers are a bit difficult to pause.
Why don't you help Jonathan with the balloons? All right then, you can take these balloons to Judy.
Balloons are even more difficult than streamers. Oh, perhaps I can help blow them up. Mr. Curry's always saying bears are full of hot air.
Maybe you should help Judy with the streamers.
It's my birthday, and I don't have anything to do.
An urgent package for Mr. P. Brown.
Oh, thank you very much. It was the magic outfit you sent me, Aunt Lucy, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It meant I could help out with my birthday party after all. I'd put on a magic show.
Alakazam, alakazoo, magic's so much fun to do, but how it works, they haven't a clue. Wave your wand, give it a tap, pull a rabbit out of a hat. Take a cake, say the magic word, Alakazam, there's a singing bird. Take a coin and cover it well, wave the wand, say the magic spell. Where it goes nobody knows, and magicians are not likely to tell. Joining rings is a real slick trick. They all come together with just one flick, and then come apart just as quick. Alakazam, alakazoo, magic's so much fun to do, but how it works, they haven't a clue. Oh yeah, alakazam, alakazoo, magic's so much fun to do.
Learning magic was going to be a trick in itself. Using the wand was by far the easiest part to learn. The instructions said to wave it around and say the magic word. Abracadabra! My jar of marmalade. It's disappeared. Disappearing marmalade. Disappearing marmalade. The instruction book doesn't say anything about disappearing marmalade. It must be a very powerful spell to make a whole jar vanish. It'll be a very good trick for tonight. But I'll have to persuade Mrs. Bird to give me another jar. Abracadabra!
I'll give you abracadabra. And be careful with that wand or you'll have someone's eye out.
There's some interesting tricks in this book of yours, Paddington. I don't mind which ones you perform this evening, as long as you don't try sawing anyone in half.
When the guests started arriving, our neighbour, Mr. Curry, soon realised we were having a party.
So, it's the bear's birthday, is it? I'm sure he must have forgotten to send me my invitation.
Mrs. Bird says Mr. Curry is always looking out for anything that's free, especially when it's something to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, as I couldn't find Mr. Brown's saw, for my next trick...
But you haven't done one yet, Bear.
It's one thing for that Mr. Curry to come to a party he wasn't invited to, but to take the first helping of Paddington's cake, it's disgusting.
Perhaps Paddington will make him disappear.
I take 1 egg...
I wish he'd take something that would be easier on the carpet.
...and place it on the table, so. Abracadabra!
Of course, it's all done by sleight of paw, but very good for a bear. Now, can you make it come back?
Abracadabra!
Excellent. Now, that's what I call a good trick. Making people think he was going to find an egg, and it was a jar of marmalade all the time.
I'm afraid I haven't had time to practice the disappearing flowers trick. So there may be a few minutes break. Disappearing flowers. Disappearing flowers.
What on earth can he be doing?
Did he say a few minutes or a few hours?
Rather a slow trick, this one. I think I may have another piece of cake.
Are you all right in there, Mr. Brown?
It's all dark and I can't read my instruction book.
Let's get you out, Paddington.
Quite a good trick, the disappearing bear. Very unusual. But I don't see what the flowers are for.
For my next trick, I would like a watch.
Are you sure? Wouldn't anything else do?
You can have mine if you like, Bear. Only be careful. It's very valuable and... I hope you know what you're doing, Bear.
That was when I read, for this trick to work, it is necessary to have a second watch. Preferably a junk one.
Bear! 20 years I've had this watch, and now look at it. This will cost someone a pretty penny.
Oh. Nonsense. It's one you bought from me for 50 pence 6 months ago. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, telling lies to a young bear.
Ugh!
Oh dear. I think that's my disappearing egg. It must have reappeared again.
I've never been so insulted in all my life. It's the last time I shall ever come to one of your birthday parties, Bear!
Well, well. Paddington did make him disappear, after all.
Cricket? Bat? Paddington, I didn't know you and Mr. Gruber went to Australia to learn about insects and night-flying creatures.
We didn't. I was writing notes about the other cricket, the one you play. We'd gone to Australia to see Ayers Rock for Mr. Gruber's book, The World and Its Wonders. Then we visited an old friend of his, James Sinclair. And straight away we found ourselves in trouble again, and all because of a game of cricket. Mr. Sinclair is headmaster of a boys' school, and we arrived to find he had a problem on his hands. And as you know by now, I'm always happy to help people with their problems.
It's all highly irregular, Mr. Sinclair. He's not even an old bear, let alone an old boy.
I know the umpire's decision is final, but the old boys' team is one man short.
He looks very comfortable where he is. You think he'll want to play?
Oh, yes. Mr. Brown likes anything new.
In any case, he's sure to be a big crowd pleaser. I haven't heard of a bear playing cricket before.
Mr. Sinclair's school was having a fundraiser, and one of the events was a cricket match between the school's old boys and a local team.
Paddington, we were wondering if you'd care to play for the old boys this afternoon.
Oh, yes, please, Mr. Sinclair.
What say we try to pick up the pace, mates? Do we have a match or don't we?
We just recruited our last team member. Paddington Brown meets Smasher Knowles, captain of the other team.
He doesn't look like much. Probably won't even fit in a set of pads. His legs are too short. No need to get offended, mate. Let's get started.
Since you are kindly helping out, would you care to do the honours?
Thank you. I shall.
I say, mate, you don't keep the coin, you toss it to see who bats first. Heads?
A very good toss, Mr. Brown. Now, all we have to do is find it.
Wait, it's stuck to my fur.
Stuck to your fur?
I'm afraid I've got marmalade on it.
Well, heads it is. We bat first.
I was out there for 2 hours, and the ball only came my way once. And that was over the top of my head. And then...
No! That wasn't a catch, it landed in his lap.
I'd have to say it's not a standard catch. But a catch is a catch. You're out.
These pads should protect your shins. Don't forget to watch the ball. And whatever you do, keep a straight bat. And I hope your bails stay on.
Could you please say that again, Mr. Gruber?
All right, Paddington, you're in. It all depends on you. We need 11 runs to win. There are only 8 balls left.
Could you please say that again, Mr. Sinclair?
Never mind. Just get out there and hit that ball.
The crowd was very welcoming, which was more than I could say for Mr. Knowles, who looked like he wanted to get even because I caught him out. It was easy to see why they called him Smasher.
I can't bowl if he hides behind his pads. I can't see the wicket.
Everyone has their own way of playing the game. This young bear is entitled to his.
A boundary! 6 runs! That means we only need another 5.
He didn't hit the ball, I hit the bat.
Well, I think you've chipped it.
He wasn't holding his bat properly.
There isn't anything in the rules saying you must hit the ball with the flat side of the bat. It's 4 runs and the end of your over, Mr. Knowles. Watch him closely. You haven't met this bowler yet.
I haven't met him yet. How do you do? I'm Paddington Brown from darkest Peru.
That's odd. What happened to the ball?
Something landed in my hat.
What's this?
Thank you. Don't mind if I do.
I think we'd better start the over again.
I hope that bear is fast on his feet. We only need 1 more run to win.
I'm afraid the running is not one of Mr. Brown's strong suits. Smasher Knowles is right. Bears do have short legs.
I found if you hold the bat the wrong way round, it works very well. Perhaps if you stood in the way of the ball more.
Oh dear. If we carry on at this rate, the old boys aren't going to win. Run, Mr. Brown!
Paddington!
Excuse me, but I just come from there.
It's not quite in the rule book, but I believe in view of the circumstances, I shall award the old boys half a run and give them the game. There seems to be something sticky on the bail.
Mr. Gruber said I should take care they don't fall, so I put some marmalade on both sets. I find it can be used for all sorts of things. Mr. Sinclair was so grateful, he even made me an honorary old bear.
We must tell Daddy. It's his school reunion next weekend, and they'll be playing a cricket match.
Who knows? They may be 1 man short. How about it, Paddington? On the other hand, perhaps you should retire at your peak.
Very well, Paddington. You may stir the batter now.
You don't need an electric mixer with me around, Mrs. Bird.
Yes, I can see that.
Paddington, would you like to dig a hole in the flower bed at the front of the house? I have something to plant.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Brown. Bears are good at digging. I'll go as soon as I'm finished with Mrs. Bird's batter.
Thank you, you're such a dear.
But not a deer, Mrs. Brown. I'm a bear.
There it is. 32 Windsor Gardens. I am looking for one Paddington Brown.
Hello. Thankfully, there is only one.
Why? Isn't he at school?
Because he's a bear. He's never been to school.
We at the Board of Education are aware of that, and we have decided that it's high time he did. Even young bears have impressionable minds that need to be molded in the pursuit of knowledge. We shall expect to see him at school first thing tomorrow morning. Otherwise, certain steps will be taken. Good day to you.
I'm going to school. Dub-de-dub-de-dub-de-dub-de-dub.
Can't believe it. Paddington's going to school. It'll be so different not having him at home.
I certainly hope so.
Right, Andrews J.
Here, sir.
Brown P. Brown P. Oh, who are you?
Paddington Brown, sir.
Right, so you are Brown P.
But I'm not a pea. I'm a bear.
Ah, yes, of course, the new pupil. Smith F., show Brown to Mr. Eustace's class, please.
You missed the roll.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Eustace. I have something better than rolls. Marmalade sandwiches. They're much tastier.
Marmalade sandwiches?
Would you like to try this one? I have tested it.
Certainly not. These are going straight to the headmaster.
Do you think you'll be able to manage them all so soon after breakfast?
Silence! You are not here to eat marmalade sandwiches. You are here to learn 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
But that's only one R. Writing begins with a W, and arithmetic with an A. My Aunt Lucy taught me that before I left Peru. Which is here. She's living in a home for retired bears.
Is she indeed? I must say I wish you were there with her. And then he gave me this look. He calls it his hard stare. He claims his Aunt Lucy taught it to him.
Come, come. Brown is new to all this. He needs something challenging to do.
I could make some more marmalade sandwiches.
I think Mr. Eustace should make you his helper.
If you insist, Headmaster. We need fish for our next class, so be sure that...
I'll get some. I often do Mrs. Bird's shopping.
Yes.
How long has he been gone?
Nearly 2 hours. I do hope he's all right.
It isn't Paddington I'm worried about. It's the school.
And this is the air bladder of the fish. As soon as Brown returns, I shall show you exactly where...
I'm back.
What is this? I wanted fish. These are fish fingers.
But this way they're all ready to eat.
I wanted a raw fish. This is a biology class. We are supposed to dissect the fish.
Dissect? I've never had dissected fish before. What does it taste like? I was told to buy some fish. Nobody said anything about it having to be raw.
You see, Mr. Eustace, in dealing with children and young bears, you must always explain things carefully.
How about we try having you as my helper one last time?
Oh, yes, Mr. Eustace. Aunt Lucy always says I should keep trying.
I'm sure, especially with one as trying as you. Now hold this tin until I ask you for it. It's very important you keep that tin safely in your pocket until after lunch. And I have another job for you.
Very good, Mr. Eustace. I see you're keeping Brown busy.
If I keep him busy, he can't drive me crazy.
Excellent. For every problem, there's a solution.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm very pleased you're starting to fit in, Brown. After all, you'll be with us for years.
Years? But I thought I was only here for the day.
Very amusing, Brown. I must tell the others, only for the day.
Years? I have to stay at school for years. Oh well, I better be a good helper to Mr. Eustace. I know. I'll polish his tin.
Anything the matter, Brown?
I think I may have dropped Mr. Eustace's tin into the noodle pot by mistake.
That was a tin of worms!
Collect your things, Master Brown. You're going home.
A uniform, you say?
Yes, I'm sorry, but every student must wear a uniform. The rules are thankfully very clear.
But Paddington is a bear. We'll never find a uniform to fit him. It's the legs, you know.
That's what we'd hoped, thought. So I'm afraid he won't be allowed to return to school, and I have so notified the authorities. Oh, by the way, we found the tin of worms under the table. The worms and Mr. Eustace are doing just fine. Good day.
Good day.
Has anyone seen the marmalade sandwich that was behind this cushion? I shared all of mine with the headmaster.
Here it is. A place for everything and everything in its place, is what I always say.
And thankfully, Paddington, your place is right here at 32 Windsor Gardens.
And speaks his mind, but trouble's never far behind. Left Peru and sailed to England alone. There he met the Browns and they took him home. Now a new life has begun. He's Windsor Gardens' favorite son, 'cause he always does his best to help everyone. When a problem appears, he never misses a beat and always finds a way to land on his feet. Has his very own unique point of view. Looks at everything as if it's brand new. He is friendly and polite, and he tries to do things right. But he gets in sticky messes just the same. He's curious and speaks his mind, but trouble's never far behind. It's Paddington Bear, he's one of a kind.
I'm Paddington Bear.